episode of the Movie Zone with me, your host Jonathan, aka the Doctor Movies. And now, continuing off my Batman Superman Legacy trailers and reviews from the movies. Here to talk about the first Superman movie, directed by Richard Donner, 1978 Superman the movie. Now, this is the first movie ever of Superman, and it was played by the late, great Christopher Reeve. And of course, you had Gene Hackman, Lex Luthor, Marlon Brando, Jor-El, and of course, you had also Margaret Kidder as Lois Lane. Now, if you don't know who Superman was, basically a baby born in Krypton, came to Earth, planet got destroyed, and now he becomes our savior, Superman. Now, for what this movie was back in the day, this was like in the 70s. Now, the technology was starting to become like movie magic in a way, you know? They had wires, yes, they had so-called green screen in a way, but not really green screen. But they put him in wires, so go figure. This is a very different movie from what the other Superman movies are. Especially now, today's technology, Superman is a lot better. But, you know, in those days, that movie was like, oh my god, this is awesome. A man who's in a comic book came to life as Superman in a movie. Now, back then, people thought that was like, wow. If you watch it today, is it outdated? Yeah, it is a little bit, because honestly, it was in the 70s, and technology back then was so not advanced yet to what it is today. I mean, you had Christopher Reeve flying on a wire, you know, and that's how they made the movie effects, but it worked for back then. You could still watch it today. I mean, they got the Blu-ray now, but if you watch it today, it is a little outdated. But the movie itself, it's still fun. I mean, basically, Superman decides he wants to become Superman. You know, he grows up in Kansas, Smallville, and not knowing who he is, and then he finds out he has all these powers, and he was adopted, he's an alien. So he goes to Metropolis, and he becomes a Marl Manor reporter named Clark Kent. So he basically has two different personalities. One where he's Clark Kent, he acts, gee golly, Lois, you know, clumsy, awkward, nerd kind of, in a way, Clark Kent. And then when he's Superman, truth, justice, American way, you know, he does his thing. So when the people finally see this Superman, because there's a scene in the movie where Lois is in a helicopter, and then the helicopter falls down, and Superman basically picks up the helicopter and picks up Lois, and he's like, don't worry, ma'am, I got you. And she's like, who got me? Who's got you? And then she gets all these questions. Now she wants to report on him, and then, you know, she wants to find out more about who this guy is. And then the paper goes crazy. They want to know who he is, what's his diet like, you know, all those normal kind of questions, like when you see an alien being, like, what does he want? What is he doing here? And you figure in the movie, people will have panic, but when they see him, they actually kind of cheer in a good way, because, you know, he did save somebody, but yet, you know, they shouldn't have trusted him. They shouldn't trust him right away, because you never know, this guy can come out of nowhere and, you know, destroy the entire planet if he wanted to. And then, of course, you have Gene Hackman, who plays Lex Luthor, and he's got the questions. Why is he here? What's his weakness? What's his backstory? So basically, Lex Luthor decides, I'm going to go find where he lives, basically the Fortress of Solitude, goes there, does his thing. Then he finds out all about the kryptonite. It was very, very fast of how he kind of figured that out. I mean, I know Lex Luthor in the comic books is like the second greatest DC comic book villain, but in this way he kind of plays it kind of corny, in a good way. I mean, I like Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor. He's still the best. Let's see how J.C. Eisenberg does it better, but let's see. I still think he's the second best Lex Luthor, Gene Hackman. Next to the guy from Smallville, you know, he was the kind of Michael Rosenbaum. There you go. He was the best Lex Luthor in my opinion. But yeah, I think for Gene Hackman in that era, because he was a big star, you know. So Gene Hackman's character, you know, he didn't have to play the the billionaire genius that Lex Luthor was supposed to be, but he played a kind of, down to earth kind of guy, but he was also kind of, how can I put it, kind of weird in a way. I mean, in some of the scenes, he reads about Superman. Like, he has like a whole collection of books. So he reads about Superman, and he's like really fascinated about him, and he wants to know more about him. And then one thing gets to another. He finds about kryptonite, and then he wants to basically take over the world. So basically, he sends a missile out to basically destroy, I believe, Metropolis, or maybe something else. It's been a while since I've seen this movie, but Superman, of course, meets him, and he's like, whoa, this guy's a lunatic. He wants to basically wipe out humanity, and then, of course, even Superman finds out his own weakness, which is kind of strange, because, honestly, I don't think he even knew about his weakness. He probably shouldn't have known already, but whatever, for what it was. But, yeah, the movie is fun. Watch it now, it is very outdated, because if you look at it, you can tell the effects are like, for this century, bad. They're bad, yeah, but it's still a fun movie. I mean, Superman is Superman for what it was, but then, it is outdated, so like I was saying, but I personally still enjoy it. I still watch it sometimes. Even the director's cut is actually pretty good. I mean, the director's cut, there are some scenes in the movie that's, that was not in the original cut. Like, for instance, in the director's cut, in the beginning of the movie, you see, Krypton, but there's an extended scene of when you see General Zod and his team being sent to the Phantom Zone. I mean, you'll learn more about General Zod in the second movie, but yeah. There's things like that, a little more extended scenes, but yeah. Like I said, there's nothing really you can't fix with that movie now because it's outdated. But it's such a fun movie to watch. You really believe that Christopher Reeve, and he was a great actor, From doing other movies, he was actually good in this role. Even when he got injured and paralyzed, he was still Superman to everybody. Everybody still loved him as Superman. It was like when Adam West's Batman was Batman, and everybody still believed that he was Batman. But then again, people saw Michael Keaton play Batman. People still, associated with Adam West. Same thing. When he got injured, and he couldn't play Superman anymore, and everybody thought, like, how can they do Superman? Even when they had other movies, Christopher Reeve will always still be people's Superman for what he did, because he made it believable, he made it that people could fly, and he was such a good actor too, not only just in Superman movies, he had some other movies too. I think I've seen one of his movies. It was a comedy movie, I just can't remember the name of it, but he was good in that movie too. So yeah, if you want to look up his, movies, look it up. You might see some movies that he's done here. I think he's done some drama, some comedy. But yeah, people to this day still recognize him as Superman. So, I mean, Henry Cavill as Superman now, he's great. But personally, I still think Christopher Reeve is better just because of the fact that he was more elegant in that role for what his time is in that, in that era. But yeah, he's still Superman to a lot of people. I personally never really got to grow up with him as Superman, but I did watch his movies as Superman because he did 1, 2, 3, and 4. Even though some of those movies are bad, it's not his fault. He was just still great Superman. But, him playing Superman was it's so iconic. Even the music, John Williams, the Superman dun 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 dun, the Superman theme song is still key. I even have it on my iPhone. It's still a good theme song. So yeah, even that music is still iconic. You hear that music, you really you instantly know it's Christopher Reeve's Superman theme song. So there you go. But yeah, so if I had to score this movie itself, I'll give it a 7. Like I said, it's outdated, yes, obviously. I mean, I do have my favorite parts of the movie, and there's this one part of the movie where Lois, on a quote, dies out of a mudslide, in a way. Superman gets so mad, he flies all the way around the Earth, and he turns back time by moving the Earth. You can even see it out. It is outdated, and it's kind of funny how it works in that way, but it's so cool because that wow, Superman's got this power. He can go back in time if he wanted to. faster than even the Flash can do it. But yeah, it's fun. But like I said, I'll give it a 7 because it is a fun movie. Of course, it's outdated, of course, but it's just a cool movie, you know? Like I said, I never really grew up with the Superman, movie when it first came out, so I really don't know how people would have reacted to that movie back in the day. But I'm pretty sure they had a lot of fun with it. And, this basically kind of started the good... his movie kind of started the DC Universe before the DC Universe. I mean, we had him first, obviously. Then Batman came, and then it really took it off. Then it died, and then it came back. And then after Superman 4, this, kind of fell off the face of the earth for a while. And then we got Superman Returns. And now, of course, Man of Steel. Now Batman v Superman. So Superman has changed over the years. But yeah, I still think it's fun. So let me know what you think about this movie. Have you ever even seen it? And let me know, do you believe that Christopher Reeve is better than any other Superman we ever had? TV, other movies, etc. Let me know, and thank you, and have a good day.